So I think there's been a lot of momentum recently around fairer tax, more transparent tax systems, cracking down on corruption. So there has been a sea change generally with more momentum around that. What we've seen is there are a number of companies that really want to be on the right side of history, and so they are committing quite early on to work with civil society organisations to discuss some of the issues and try to find some common ground. And then in some cases, we've seen some companies that are wanting to be part of the solution. So not waiting for a government or an EU body to lay down the law, but actually trying to go further and go quicker. So as an example, you have BH Billiton, one of the largest mining companies, the largest mining company in the world, and they are committed to pushing forward this idea around corporate ownership and control transparency, something a bit technical, but they're wanting to be on the forefront of that, even though it's not law yet in Australia or in many of the countries that they operate. They're trying to push and be a standard setter, I guess. I think as in any friendship group, any organisation, any kind of community, we all need to be better at listening to each other and then actually taking that feedback on board. So civil society, NGOs like my own, we need to be good at listening to governments when they say that something is difficult or costly or might have inadvertent consequences. We need to listen to companies who say, actually, that's not going to fix it, maybe this will. And likewise, they need to listen to civil society representing views from taxpayers, from other citizens. We are starting to see a couple of initiatives come together. As one very specific example, we have a new initiative called Open Ownership, which brings together governments, civil society organisations and businesses, each trying to provide and generate an actual tool to roll back secrecy around who owns and controls companies and where they operate and who's actually pulling the strings. We could try and do that by ourselves as civil society, but we'll never get the buy-in from the governments and the businesses that ultimately stand to win as much as we do as well. I do think that we are at a crisis point when it comes to trust, and that is being played out in politics, it's being played out in different power structures. There is a lack of trust going three ways, from citizens to businesses to governments. Just being a little bit more transparent about your operations, your staff, what you pay in terms of taxes in which country and to whom will help to allay some of that fear. Because sometimes it's mislaid. We don't know everything because secrecy is at the core of this. Secrecy is vital for tax evasion, for crime, for corruption. If we're able to roll back some of that secrecy, I think we'll be able to get back a little bit of the trust that maybe we've lost in recent years.